Let your inner child out, because we're talking toys. We're ranking the top 10 with help from a panel of 100 experts.
It was one of those toys that really focused on the possibilities. It wasn't so much about what the toy did, but what kids could do with it.
People were transfixed. They stopped in their tracks, they saw it, and started asking, how much?
Our pundits huddled up and ranked them based on stats, innovation, and legacy. From the cute and cuddly.
This was one of the biggest toy crazes of all time.
I remember parents getting into fights in toy stores to steal that last Cabbage Patch Kid.
To the simple and smelly.
There is nothing quite like that aroma.
All you do is you do this, you watch it go downstairs. Is it that exciting?
These are the ones we can't put away.
It's just a flattened metal coil that's 2.5 inches tall, yet it's almost mesmerizingly kinetic.
For me, Hot Wheels were everything.
Barbie is the greatest of all time because she's so powerful.
Work's over. Time to log off. We've got some playing to do.
Play-Doh absolutely has to be on the go list. I mean, you think about it, 3 simple elements: flour, salt, and water. It absolutely deserves, because kids have been playing with it for so long.
It's so distinctive. I think every child in America knows what that scent is.
What a brilliant idea to take dough, add a ton of salt so it's super gross, and then food coloring, and let kids play with it.
It seems like a pretty simple formula to me. Add a couple eggs, and you got yourself pasta.
I think it depends on how many times you've had to scrub it out of a carpet, maybe. Like, your stance on Play-Doh might change a little bit.
You basically can't keep your hands off of it at any age.
Every kid, if you didn't try to eat Play-Doh at least once, I don't think you actually played with it. And that stuff is gross.
It started its career as a wallpaper cleaner, of all things.
So back in the 1930s, Cleo McVicker is running this company called Coutole Products. And basically, they had a really interesting product.
You would rub down your expensive wallpaper to remove soot.
1954, McVicker has a sister-in-law who's a teacher at that point in time and says, I've got a better idea. Why don't you let me use it in the school? So they bring it in, and the kids start to play with it. And suddenly they realize this thing that was a cleaning product could be a toy. And Play-Doh is born.
Play-Doh, Play-Doh, Play-Doh in your fun factory.
The geniuses behind Play-Doh decide to partner with one of the biggest kids' TV shows of the time, Captain Kangaroo.
They paid him royalties on every can of Play-Doh sold. And Bob Keeshan, the actor who played Captain Kangaroo, loved it so much that he featured it on his morning show more often than even his contract required.
Captain Kangaroo came into almost every home that had a TV in the nation before school every morning, and any product that Captain Kangaroo had on there became a huge hit.
It was such a hit that more than 3 billion cans of Play-Doh have been produced in the last 50 years.
Turns out he retired on Play-Doh money. Yeah, made way more money doing that than the actual thing he was doing there. How crazy is that? Play-Doh should be on the list just for visual brand recognition alone.
Barbie is the greatest of all time in terms of toys because she's so powerful.
Barbie literally becomes anything. She went to the moon. She's been a president. She's been a surgeon, a veterinarian. She's been a superstar.
Barbie had a Corvette. She had a dream house. She had an RV. She had cool clothes, right, friends? Maybe she got an inheritance.
I think among the most amazing things that Mattel has done with Barbie is to keep her contemporary throughout the past 63 years without ever compromising the core value, which is play. She is pretty authentic.
One thing that made Barbie different was that Barbie was the doll of an adult woman. And dolls previously were really baby dolls.
This game-changing doll was the brainchild of Mattel co-founder Ruth Handler.
She'd seen her daughter and other little girls play with paper dolls and kind of emulate them going to work or being students or having kind of more grown-up lives than baby dolls allowed them to have. And she's like, there's no adult doll that allows girls to play out this part of their fantasy play life.
It all begins on a family vacation where Ruth Handler sees a doll in a shop. It's shaped like a grown-up woman, and that gives Ruth an idea.
The other executives were very skeptical, and they couldn't quite understand why would a 6-year-old girl be interested in something like this. But Ruth Handler understood what I love about Barbie, is that you just want to embody all the cool things you get to do when you grow up.
Hi, I'm Barbie. What's your name?
She and her husband worked together to manufacture the first prototype of who becomes Barbie.
Barbie was named after her daughter.
She is born in 1959 at a toy fair for the price of $3.
Now, the thing about Barbie in 1959 was she had two options: teenage fashion model or bride. That was it.
But as it gained momentum and Ruth Handler realized that, oh, you can just sell the outfits separate from the doll, that's when the magic of Barbie is unleashed.
But Ruth doesn't stop there.
She bought all the advertising on the Mickey Mouse Club show to reach her consumers directly.
Then it went on TV, and by the summer of that year, it had really started to take off, and Barbie was off to the races. In 1963, she got her boyfriend, Ken, who is named after Ruth's son.
I think Ken probably met Barbie in high school and he was like, I'm gonna hitch my wagon to hers. I'll just like do whatever she wants me to do. And he's like, I'll ride in your Corvette, absolutely.
Then they started to have Midge and Skipper and other friends. But it wasn't until like 1967 or 68 that we actually saw a black Barbie come into the fold.
Barbie has been incredibly nimble over the years in changing who she is and what she represents so that she remains incredibly relevant.
100 Barbie dolls are sold per minute, and that adds up to 58 million Barbies per year.
Barbie should definitely be considered as one of the greatest toys of all time. She has a complicated past, but her longevity is endless. She has been everything for everyone.
No other toy has been around for 63 years, changed to reflect the culture at every single turn, and stayed relevant to its audiences throughout that entire time. So we are now in the third generation of people who have loved and played with Barbie.
It's time to reveal our top toy. And yes, the competition's been tough. From the Slinky to Barbie, we've unwrapped some incredible toys. But our number one towers above the rest. Let's hear it for the greatest toy of all time, Lego.
Legos are truly unique because it is this great adventure of the mind.
There is so much passion for Lego wherever you go. People love it.
I never in my wildest dreams imagined that some of the greatest pain I'd ever feel in my life was stepping on a Lego and then violently falling, which is what seems to happen to most of us parents with kids that play with Legos.
I think you could disqualify Lego from the top spot for the pain that it has caused people when they have stepped on a Lego.
Oh!
And I will never have Legos in my house for that very reason.
What kid doesn't have a box of Lego that used to be a fire truck or a house?
It's like the IKEA furniture of toys. There are hundreds of pieces.
There are so many possibilities with Lego, and what goes into the engineering of these kits and figuring out which pieces fit together is beyond me, but it's very impressive.
The history of Lego goes back to wooden products. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, Ole Kirk Christensen was a woodworker. And one of the things he chose was to make wooden toys.
He was making these wooden vehicles and selling it around Denmark and continued to have success and built on that.
The turning point for Lego was in 1946. They bought their first injection mold machine, and that's how they're able to make all those bricks.
By the 1960s, Lego was selling all over Europe and got the attention of a major U.S. manufacturer, but one with no experience selling toys.
Lego, the sensation of Europe, now made in America by Samsonite.
At the time, the president of Samsonite was in Amsterdam, and he saw Legos in a window in a toy store there, and he changed his trip, and he flew to Denmark, and he talked to them, and he got a license. He said, hey, I make plastic luggage, you make plastic toys. So he brought a suitcase of Legos back, and they were made under license by Samsonite for many years until Lego started creating their own factories here in the United States.
The incredible engineering and precision that goes into making those Lego bricks so that they lock together tightly and yet can easily be removed by a child with the force of strength that a child has. It's not a simple thing at all.
The real brilliance of what Lego did was make those little circles on the bottom. That's how they were able to interlock. Without those little circles on the bottom of the Lego blocks, we might not even be talking about them.
There is something really satisfying with how a Lego brick clicks onto the piece below it. Early Lego sets were to create a whole little village of different stores and houses and buildings. It really let you create a landscape.
So you buy your first set, and then you add onto it, and every time you add onto it, it's really a brand new toy.
It gave a reason for consumers to return to the product line and keep adding on.
One of Lego's big breakthroughs was adding wheels, creating Lego vehicles. But possibly an even cooler innovation, partnering with George Lucas on Star Wars.
When George Lucas was coming out with his second trilogy of Star Wars movies, one of the licensees he wanted was Lego. And they released the Star Wars Legos. And it was a huge success when the movie came out.
There are movies in Lego Batman, all of those really reflect how much a part of the culture Lego has become, from this little brick to this sort of global behemoth. We're in our third generation or more of Lego players, so they've grown up with it. It's really a part of our culture now.